Good morning and welcome back, guys, to Bald Father Bets on College Football Playoff Saturday. Mixed in with two NFL games because these teams are playing on Wednesday, on Christmas Day, so they had to have them play today so that they could try and get some rest in between the Wednesday games. Still a really difficult scheduling. These NFL teams are playing 3 games in 11 days, which is, that's tough, right? That's very tough. But anyway, quick recap of yesterday, and then we'll give our picks for today. But first, please make sure you're supporting the channel, subscribe, notifications on, just like, share, comment on this video, help us get in that YouTube algorithm. So yesterday we had Indiana, obviously got close late. In terms of the number, it wasn't close ever in the game. Some stuff early for Indiana, got that interception, got down to the goal line, then threw the pick, and it was like, oh my gosh, scoring first in that game would have been huge. And then the 98-yard touchdown run from Notre Dame, and it was exactly off tackle, as we said. Notre Dame had a couple of off tackle runs that were big. One was an 18-yard gain on a 1st and 15. The other was that 98-yard touchdown run, and they had another one late that was on the 3rd down for a 1st down, but that really ended up being the difference. And then the fact that Curtis Rourke probably played his worst game of the season last night. He was very juiced early, overthrowing people by 5 yards. The interception was a bad decision, and it was an overthrow. Then he had a wide open touchdown later in the game, 3rd and 3, he overthrew. He was getting pressure in his face, but overthrew the receiver, and it was a difficult one there. We liked Indiana because of the ability to stop the run, and that came through. That Notre Dame had 198 yards rushing, but 98 of it was on, or 196 yards rushing, but 98 of it was on that one play. So Indiana's defense actually held up pretty well. They got tired at the end. The entire 3rd quarter, you look at time of possession, they were on the field. They had no sustained drives. One thing that does suck is we had the plus 7.5, and they lost by 10, and they stopped Notre Dame on a fake field goal attempt, but Cignetti called a timeout, and so then Notre Dame kicked the field goal and got it. So if he doesn't call that timeout, then that's 3 points right there, and it's a 7-point game, and you cover. If they don't throw that interception, let's assume they at least get a field goal, 7-point game, they cover. Even if after that field goal they kick it off Notre Dame, and very first play it's a 70-yard touchdown instead of a 98-yard touchdown. But there's a lot of stuff in that one that happened that ultimately led to a non-cover, which is unfortunate. That's the way it is. So anyway, we move into today. We have the 3 playoff games, the 2 NFL games, so we'll go in sequential order here. Beginning with our Penn State SMU game. This has been the hardest one to read all week long, honestly. Line now anywhere between 8 and 9. And you could go multiple ways with this, man. SMU is a really good team, but Penn State may be in that caliber of those 4 or 5 teams that have an opportunity to win a national title this year. If they are able to get their running attack going and kind of lean on SMU, you're going to have a difficulty for SMU to win. On the opposite side of this, if SMU proves that they have the man meat on the line of scrimmage, then this thing could go SMU's way big. SMU has had the ability to move the ball on almost everyone this year. They won the final 3 quarters against Clemson. They just couldn't overcome the 1st quarter. They are exceptional in terms of read option, putting pressure on you as a defense, running quick. One thing that scares me here is Jennings has like 13 turnovers this year. I think it's like the 2nd most in the ACC. If they get into a situation where they turn the ball over multiple times against Penn State, that's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly fast. The weather is also a concern. Jennings was on game day this morning, and he was blowing into his hands because he's cold. You could see he was cold. It's cold. I mean, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama right now, and I went out to get coffee this morning for me and my girlfriend, and I mean, I stepped out the door and the wind just cut through, and it's only like 37 degrees here. So I mean, the entire east Midwest part of the country, from Mississippi, Alabama up, is very cold right now with a lot of wind. So I am concerned with SMU's ability here to keep this one, I guess, kind of within their framework if they're having to face all these different elements. I'm not concerned enough though to lay it with James Franklin. There's just something about a James Franklin team in these big games. It's just not in me to lay it with them. So we are going to take SMU plus the 9. Then moving on to the NFL game, we already did that one. We have the Houston Texans plus 3.5. Big reason there that we're doing that is because we like the Houston Texans pass rush against these tackles for Kansas City. You're going to have a more immobile Patrick Mahomes. He will get hit, he will get sacked, which means there's an opportunity that he actually comes out of this game again, because he's already playing on short rest. They have another short rest before the Wednesday game. I'm really surprised actually that they're testing this. I'm very surprised. I would have thought that they would give him this game off, but they're going to test it. We'll see what happens. So we're on Houston Texans. Next is the favorite play of the weekend. We're laying the 12.5 with Texas. I don't see it at all with Clemson. I talked about Clemson. They need explosive plays to win games, and that is the thing that Texas they do not give up. The most consistent unit in college football on any side of the ball this year was Texas's defense, and I don't think they will give up the big plays to Clemson. I think Phil Maffa is going to have a really difficult time running. Texas hits very hard. They will test the shoulder on him. And then once that happens, then it's going to come all down to Cade, which Cade has the ability to do it. I've been on record on this channel before saying I think Cade Klubnik's a better quarterback than Cam Ward. I think he's the best quarterback in the ACC. I think he's a future NFL quarterback. And I think he's having a much better season than Quinn Ewers and is a better quarterback than Quinn Ewers right now. It's just Quinn will not be asked to do what Cade's going to be asked to do in this game. And I think you'll see Texas kind of just slowly put a vice grip on Clemson as this game goes on. Then in our NFL afternoon game, we're going to lay the 6.5 with the Ravens. Big thing here is Pickens is out and TJ Watt is playing, but the outside of his leg is to a point where they're really only going to be able to line him up on one side of the ball. I think Lamar finally overcomes this whole Steelers burden today. It's something that they've been focused on. They had the Steelers in a difficult position today with the injuries. Those are your two most significant players. Pickens is your most dynamic offensive weapon, and TJ Watt is maybe the best defender in the NFL. So I mean, like, your two most significant players on either side of the ball, one's out, one is significantly hampered. That's a really, really tough spot for the Steelers. Also, games for the division, I think you're going to see a motivated Ravens team here. The only thing that scares me is that Ravens pass defense going up against Russell Wilson, who's been very good this year. That's really the only concern I have in that one. And then lastly, we are going to lay the 7 with Ohio State. Tennessee's been two different teams this year. Right now, they're struggling on defense. They lost their star linebacker, the one that wears the headset, and since then they've essentially given up double the yards per rush, and they're giving up tons of receiving yards to players who are lining up in the backfield. So running backs, tight ends, fullbacks, anyone who's lining up in the backfield. They are very susceptible right now. I know there's the concern of, is Ohio State motivated for this? I think you'll see a motivated Ohio State team. I don't like it as much as I liked when you got Ohio State plus the 7 after losing to Michigan when they played Georgia. You're laying 7 here, but I do like it. Tennessee's been good, not great all year. So Ohio State still has that ability to win a national championship. All of those are 5. Everything's 5-unit play. We're keeping it consistent with what we did last night as well. So both the NFL games and the college games are 5. We'll be back at you again tomorrow for NFL Sunday, but enjoy the first college football playoff Saturday, and hook 'em horns.